Hey everybody, welcome to another Practical Pet Chat. Oh, Lauren, I feel like I always start off the show that way. I feel like I'm becoming a creature of habit. Hey, that'd be a cool topic for us, right? Because our pets and us as pet parents, we're creatures of habit, right? I know as I go throughout my day, there are things that I almost instinctively know Bella is going to be waiting to do, and she's always in the right spot. Wake up in the morning, she knows the second I go to reach for her collar, that means we're going downstairs, we're going outside. She's going to do her business. Maybe we'll walk up the hill, walk back down the hill. Um, if I ask her, hey, you ready to go? She'll she's doing it right now. We should turn the camera. She'll do her little downward dog, which is her way of saying yes. I know people who have buttons. I don't need a button. Bella's yes is her downward dog. Creatures of habit, or are they just making sure it's easy for us to understand them?
They have the advantage over us. We're very much creatures of habit, I think, as humans, and we do it without thinking.
Hmm.
They are doing nothing more than reading us. They have everything dialed in. They know what the body language is, what the movements are, what the time of day is, what is typical, what each is, the things that we touch, or, pick up or anything like that. They know what all of that means. They're connected to all of it because I feel like we're constantly watched. And it
Yeah,
doesn't matter if it's a cat or a dog, whatever, they're constantly watching. And they're so much smarter about us than we are about them because we're everything to them. We're everything about their day, about what's happening, about what's going on, whether they're going to eat, whether they're going to go somewhere, whether we're leaving. Is it a weekend and they're staying home? That kind of thing. They're reading, 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 reading. And so they get those little cues, those little tells, and they're predictive. So they're immediately all over it. In my house, it's like if I walk to a certain area, they're both on alert. Like, she's going to the closet where the leashes are. And it's like, no, I'm not. The vacuum is in there. I'm not getting that. I was like, well, you could get them while you're in there. I was like,
yeah,
no, we're not doing that right now. They're like, dang it. And so they're on alert and they're watching to be sure that I don't change my mind, something else like that. So it's really fun to watch them figure us out, but they have the advantage over us on that because they just spend every minute of every day doing that.
yeah. It's funny you say that too, because I think about it also puts me into a routine with her as well.
Mhm.
And I lift her up and off the bed, not because she's a chunky monkey. I just don't want the possible slip on our floor. And so it's funny because I'll ask her, ready to get down? And sometimes she'll just do the big, huge stretch and show the belly and be like, nope, I think I need about 5 more minutes of, or she just pops right up, stands up, waits for me to pick her up, get a hernia, all the good things a good pet parent does. And it's so funny because even when we get into the room, there are times where she will instinctively, and it's usually when it's hotter. She doesn't want to be up on the bed, blankets, covers, all that stuff. She wants to just go lay on the cool floor. So I'll know in those in between times because if she wants to be up in the bed, she just, prances over almost on her tippy toes because you hear the little click, 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 and then thump, she's standing at the edge of the bed because we have one of those tall beds. And she's like, I'm ready. You may lift me up now, sir. And so it is funny too. It's those cues. But I love that you say that because I tease her. She has always, since she was a puppy, had this little ear thing that is like a little periscope that is always following people in the room, and I always know who she's keying in on by wherever the ear is pointed to, and it seems to be able to go 360 degrees. It's pretty wild.
That's
Um,
cool.
but yeah, she's and it's just one of those. It's the same thing. I'll say, do you need to go potty? And if she doesn't move, it's like, no, I don't need to go potty. Okay. And it's like, we'll go through and instinctively, it's like she knows the words and she'll pop up when I get to the right one. So, she's certainly trained me quite well, of course. But when I'm out of town, like I have been a couple times this year, she's able to adapt it to our family as well. And I think that's kind of cool. She knows each one, to your point, watching us, learning us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting, and it's fun too if there's only one or two people for the kid to learn, the dog to learn or the cat to learn versus like your house.
Yeah.
There's four people to learn, and each of us is different.
Yeah.
So they have to take all that in. They're brilliant. They're really brilliant.
Yeah. It's funny too, because one of my daughters does not, well, so I tease her because I say that's the room Bella spent her first couple days in because as a little puppy, I was trying to get her comfortable and all that. And she slept. My daughters were out of town, so we slept there because it was just easier. We sleep on the floor. And so they have this ongoing battle of whose room it is. And occasionally she'll drop a toy, a dog toy in there, and I'll hear the Bella, come get your toy. But it's like hilarious because if that door is open, she goes in there and she'll just like sit by the bed, get up in the bed, and it's just like, oh, hey. So she's got this playful approach with her. The other daughter could put up screaming lights and hang bacon in the doorway, and she wants nothing to do with that room. So it's funny too that you say the different personalities. It's also the different uh, interactions and
Mhm.
how they engage. She loves all of us, checks in with everybody that comes in the door, but is really good at picking up quickly and assessing, okay, this person is this way, that person's that way. Um, I mean, when you think about how much and how difficult it is to sense everything going on in the environment with the heightened senses they have, it's
Mhm.
remarkable how well they do communicating with us. To your point, though, if we're paying attention.
If we're paying attention, yeah. And it's not just us they're learning. They're paying attention to, like you said, in the house, their surroundings. They're paying attention to what's going on outside the house because they're on alert at all times and they need to, know what that sound was, what that truck is, if somebody's coming up to the house to leave a package,
Yeah.
something like that. So there's a lot going on for them. Nothing irritates me more than to have somebody say dumb dog because
Well, and yeah.
it's like you have no idea. You have no idea what that dog needs to learn to live in our world.
Yeah, it's funny what you just said too kind of sparked something I know I've shared with you. Um, Bella, very protective. We've got a Belgian Malinois neighbor, very protective as well. So they have their own communication channel up and down the hill here of who's coming and the barking and all that. And one of my neighbors actually said to me, I hear when Bella is barking sometimes, I'll hear you say, thank you, Bella. Thank you, Bella. And is there a reason you do that? And I was like, yeah, because she's doing what she should be doing, letting me know, hey, Dad, there's someone that I don't know if they should be here, be here. So yelling, no, stop, be quiet, shut up, any of those other things is not, I don't want to give the false sense of I'm upset, I'm angry, and all that. Now, it may go on too long sometimes, and I may have to say thank you a couple times. But really, she's gotten to the point, and Sugar and Zoe are the same way. And any of the dogs really in our family, extended family, that's what they want. They just want you to acknowledge, hey, okay, you're aware, we're on the same page. Okay, perfect. And to your point, it saddens me when I see people, scream at the dog, yell at the dog, jerk the dog, and I'm just like, whoa, come on. That's, it's kind of one of the mistaken things too on behaviors. Oh, I've got to get the dog out for a 2 mile walk. Sometimes a just walk around the front yard that they don't get to go out in very often and hitting all the smell points that they'll point out for you is better than that 2 mile walk.
Yeah.
I think again, we're missing that in that communication and habits and things that, we expect or we want or we feel should be modeled. So
Well, that's because most people, when they're outside with their animals, are on their phone.
That's true. That's true.
We need to pay attention to them. They're not looking at their phones.
Yeah, I mean that just opens a whole other larger discussion point.
For the future.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, welcome to Therapy for Rob 101. Yeah, phones, the amount of times I am I see that at the dog parks too. And
Ugh,
that is that honestly it's made me stop going to certain parks that I used to go to. And Belle's not as enamored with them as Sugar and Zoe were. Um, but yeah, I mean, I tried recently, and I'm not kidding. If not everybody, almost everybody was on their phone, and all I had was my phone in my back pocket. And it'd be one thing if they were taking pictures. They weren't. They were
yeah.
just, it's like, so going back to one of our previous episodes, will AI replace us, AI dogs and AI pet parents? I would argue in some instances, the AI version of the pet parent may be better just because they'll be more locked in on the pets than we are these days.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because, you look at anytime I see somebody, we have trails all around where I live. And anytime I see somebody walking alone or doing anything on the trail and they've got earphones in and they're by themselves, I'm like, how do you know what's going on around you?
Yeah,
You're on your phone, you got earphones in, you're not paying attention, you're out, but you wouldn't know if a car came barreling across the median towards you. You wouldn't know if a
right.
dog was chasing you down or a pack of dogs. And they do the same thing with their animals. And it's unfortunate because especially at a dog park, there's so much interaction and you can read the body language and the cues long before something happens fast enough to get your dog pulled away and away from what's going to go on. And they're not. They're looking at their phones and they've got earphones in, and the social aspect is not there for the dogs.
Yeah. Not our favorite behavior for pet parents, right?
No,
So,
no, not at
on
all.
that note, share with us some of the behaviors that you love seeing from your pets. Send those emails up above where Lauren's head is at practicalpetchat@gmail.com. We love seeing all those. Really appreciate the time that you spend with us weekly. Thanks for joining us again here on Practical Pet Chat.
Bye, guys.
The content of this podcast is for informational purposes only. It is not intended as, nor should it be construed as, professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment for your pets. Always seek the advice of a qualified veterinarian with any questions you may have regarding your pet's health or medical condition. Never disregard professional veterinary advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast. The hosts and the guests of this podcast are not liable for any actions taken based on the information shared during these episodes. Any reliance on the information provided is solely at your own risk. Copyright 2026 Practical Pet Chat. All rights reserved. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or reproduction of any content from this podcast, including but not limited to audio, scripts, and show notes, is prohibited without prior written consent. The opinions and views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Practical Pet Chat.